This is a download from BFM 89.9, the business station.
BFM 89.9, this is I Love Kale and I'm Sharad Kutan. I'm at Minut Init and it is, in fact, quite a small space. Minut Init is actually an art studio. At the moment they're having a show, so it looks a bit like a gallery space. But it's a series of little rooms, and the people who started it are right next to me. They're Jon Hua and James Lai, and Dali, who's no relation of the famous Salvador Dali. It's a new space. It's been open for about a year. I'm going to ask James what the show is all about.
The show is called Creole. So the theme is we're celebrating the influences on our Malaysian art and our artists. Because I think we have a strong influence from overseas and from foreigners as well, because of the state of our country, how we started as well. And then we're just exploring that because it's part of ourselves and part of our originality somewhat.
John actually runs a space. Could you tell us why you decided on Uptown? It's not exactly a kind of cultural center.
I think it just happened. We didn't plan anything, and the space came out and it looks like a good space, as in the area. And we decided to just go ahead with it, and it just moved on, and now it's what it is, Minut Init.
From the street level, you really can't tell it's a gallery. There's a wall that's, I don't know, it's pink or magenta. I don't know what color that is, and pink, shocking pink, and it's got a little stencil of a brain, and but it's kind of, you walk up this narrow staircase and it's a maid agency, I think, with, you have these images of a very happy maid with a very plump and very happy child. I mean, so there are a lot of things to distract you from the fact that, this is actually a gallery space. Do you get many walk-ins to your gallery?
Yes, we do get walk-ins because we put it on Facebook, and sometimes when people walk past, because we recently painted the stencil on the side, that's supposed to tell people there's an art space up there. But I guess the whole charm about it is you don't expect when you reach the top. When you reach the top, it's a totally different world compared to the downstairs.
Yeah, and charming it is. I mean, I think that's the wonderful thing about small galleries is that it lends this quality to urban spaces. This idea of serendipity, you just bump into something, and I mean, I think of Uptown as the place where you go for foot massages or cheap DVDs or a Hokkien mee. Yeah, that's the kind of thing. I know that the two of you at least studied in Melbourne and were football buddies before you decided to form a kind of art collective.
The art collective was never part of the plan, because we just started out we're playing football, we're partying a lot, and we're kind of experiencing the same things in life and in Melbourne as young Malaysian over there. And I guess we are really individualistic people, so we don't get along with a lot of people. And we kind of find a safety, comfort from each other, and that's why we kind of became really tight throughout the years. And then actually this was started by our friend Dali, and he didn't even tell us about it. But when he needed help, he just called us and we just came in. And then that's how we just developed from there, evolved. So now we're kind of here at this moment.
James, you teach at Lim Kok Wing. John, what do you do?
I work in a bank. I work in finance.
Did you have any fine art training or anything like that?
No, just how in finance details matters. So in art as well, details matters. So I'm a very detailed person, and so the merger between the two worlds just makes sense to me.
You have brought together artists who are not part of your collective to exhibit in this show. Maybe we can just look at some of them, because some of it's quite fascinating. I mean, I must say, I'm not kind of fine art trained, but and so I have very strong likes. I like the work that is done by this woman artist that you have in your collection, who's called Mills Gunn. Yeah. We're standing in front of a kind of metallic sculpture. Could you tell us more about this piece?
Basically, it's an installation. It's just made of different mechanical parts that she put together. It's if you can see, it's there's like a gas pump connected to a spray at the front, and it's connected to the back with a gear type thing. The art is all about mechanics, I guess.
Against the mechanism of our society, and that we are becoming more mechanical every day in our routines and all these. So, and she is kind of a Dadaist.
What is it to be a Dadaist in Malaysia?
Well, Dadias have a bad reputation of being cynics, but the fight is kind of a fight against too much mechanism, or like, you know, lack of organic growth.
So it's for organic growth, is it?
Okay, it's kind of rebelling against the mainstream, kind of to deviate from the norm of the pace of life.
So we're going to move towards the last room in the back of the thing. It's really chill. It's got a poster of Fu Manchu with a one of those, I don't know what you call it. It's like a thimble, but a long thimble on his last finger. So I guess he can scratch places he needs to scratch. Mills has got another piece which I really like, which is this kind of girl on a bench. You know, it's very expressionistic. It's not kind of fully painted out, but it's got a splash of color.
This reminds me of kind of Rostrum book, whereby there are words written on the painting, which is not usual, and as well the philosophy is it's very punk rockish, which goes with that kind of. And as well, Mills is a lesbian. Yeah, so that ties in with kind of Rauschenberg as well, with that kind of modernist philosophy where humans should do what they feel like, you know, what clears their conscience.
So you're referring to the American artist Robert Rauschenberg, yeah? Who I think had an exhibition here many years actually, and he did a work I think inspired by Malaysian cement trucks with the word semen on it, because you know semen is the Malaysian word for cement, and he had that. Here we're in an even smaller room. I don't know who would be able to live in a room like this, but it's actually quite nice as a exhibition space. On one wall we have works by Dali, one of the founders or one of the central members of the collective. You recently had a photographic exhibition called Tai Chicha. I'm sure I'm not allowed to say this on air, but you know, I will. So we've moved into one of the larger rooms in the front. We have two portraits of the father and son duo from North Korea, Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il. Who painted this?
Dill Malik. She's not really a full-time painter, but she's working kind of in the arts, and she painted this for a friend actually. And she was special request that we asked her to exhibit it here. Alright, this style is kind of reminiscent of Beavis and Butthead, I think. You know, really modern, punk rock, MTV-ish, pop. I think very hipster, you can call it these days. So these are the influences of kind of the globalized influences of that we share. Like say somebody my age living in America, like we can share a lot of stuff because we kind of grow up on the same things, you know, we digest the same commercials, shows, songs, music, influences from the Western side. But what I think is original about this, we still kind of keep some philosophies from the Eastern side, where that kind of gives us the difference in the art. Like in this, I guess it's in the color and it's the representation. Because Asian kind of have a more impressionistic way of interpreting images, I guess.
So the ideology of the North Korean state, of course, is Juche, which was articulated by the father. The pieces, yeah, you say Beavis and Butthead. Yeah, I kind of see Beavis and Butthead in the kind of comic kind of representation. It's not exactly socialist realism, which the North Koreans are actually very famous for. They do beautiful socialist realist work. We're looking at the next series of works by Nizam Abdullah. Looks very accomplished.
Oh, he's a recognized artist. He's been exhibiting in Singapore, Malaysia, and as well, he's been around for a couple of years now. So main thing is he's now doing mostly sculptures, and these are kind of rare paintings that he did before. So he's giving us a chance to exhibit it because he's not exhibiting these things. What we're doing, we're kind of doing everything that people didn't want to do before, and we want to do it now.
I mean, you have artists, like you say, Nizam's already got a reputation. You have artists who are not full-time artists, perhaps completely unknown. You have prices ranging from, I don't know, I saw something over there with 27,000 to things that are much more modestly priced at 250. You say in some of those works were actually done before the show was put together, so they weren't necessarily done specifically for the theme of the show.
Yeah, for some of the artists, we actually went to their personal art spaces and look at their art center and said, hey, we like your art, and maybe why don't you come and exhibit in our studio? So that's one of the ways we went about it. But some of them came to us and said, hey, I want to come and join your event. And we take a look at their art and we say, yeah, you fit the agenda, and they bring their art to the studio, and that's how everything got together.
So we're standing in front of a little portrait. It looks like Adolf Hitler with a sonko.
The artist is called Hafiz Ajida, and he's kind of up and coming right now. So this is kind of really anarchic piece. You can call it Dada as well. He's kind of a little of self-loathing towards the Western society, using Hitler as a symbol with a Muslim hat and as well Stalin's uniform. This is, I think, we can call it the perfect dictator. The natural dictator.
So now we're looking at James's work, which I first thought had to do with the Freemasons, because it's got like kind of like that eye in the sky thing with the pyramid. But he says I'm completely wrong in this. It's actually a struggle between the sexes. James, since you're actually standing here, you know, we very rarely get a chance to ask the artists what they intended by their work. So tell us, what did you mean to do with this work?
The start intention was really different from how we ended up. But I guess I had this thing where I was going through kind of a spiritual phase. I was kind of looking for more focus and kind of more peace, because at that time it was kind of all over the place in my mind. And then I had quite a lot of problems with girls as well. So that's why I got thinking about the, you know, like our society. Is it changing? Is the role of men changing? Or the role of women is changing? But personally, I feel right now women kind of have the upper hand, kind of dominating society. So with this piece, it's called the occultation of the sun. So the sun represents man, male, and the moon will represent the woman. So this happens, it's kind of like a solar eclipse. When a solar eclipse happens, kind of something burns, and after that, you kind of feel a change in the earth. Like if you watch it and if you observe an eclipse. So I'm kind of trying to achieve that. Like,
James, I feel for you. So it might be women's domination of a society. It might be just their domination over James. John, could you tell us how people can access this space?
Anybody can come by from Monday to Friday. We're open from 8 to 11. And you can just search us on Facebook. Minut Init is MINUTINIT, Minut Init. And yeah, just Google us. You can find us. We are on a blog. We are on Twitter. And yeah, you just we are the same row on Uptown or HSBC next to the Nasi Lemak Antara Bangsa place. Yeah, you see a pink door with the brain, if the Minut Init stands still by the side, just walk all the way up. You're not wrong when you're halfway through, you just got to walk all the way up when you were there.
Yeah, I would like to challenge the young collectors and to kind of get out of your boring comfort zone and come and see our art.
This is I Love KL, and I'm Sharad Kuttan for BFM 89.9. Now